with a block. And the Blazers win the series for the first time in 14 years.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Rip City Rundown. We're bringing you another live podcast all together. We're going to be going over some hot takes today that you sent in on the Instagram and the Twitter. If you don't follow those, make sure to go follow them in the description. We're also going to be talking about the Summer League and the Damian Lillard extension. We'll start with the Dame extension. We did a quick video on this, our brief thoughts. We'll go a little more in depth here. What are your thoughts on it?
Basically, Lillard extended his contract to $120 million, 2 years, so that's about $60 million each year. As of right now, it is the highest contract for the 2026-2027 season. But things will change. But
yeah. I mean, look at it. If you're Portland, you're gonna give Dame his money. I think right now no one's complaining about it. I think everyone's just happy Dame's locked up for 2 more years. I think maybe down the line when he's 36, 37, making $61 million a year, then some people will be like, it's tough to stomach. But again, it's Damian Lillard, arguably the best player this franchise has ever had. And the fact that he's loyal enough to stay here and continue to re-sign, we just need to be grateful for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, in his press conference he had yesterday about the contract extension, he dropped some really good quotes that just make you feel good as a Blazer fan.
Oh, yeah.
He said, he wouldn't be fulfilled if he won a championship with another team. He said that there's things that are missing in this league when it comes to the pride, not only for the back of the jersey, but also the front of the jersey. He talked about how much faith he has in Joe Cronin. And he even talked about how he's had long conversations with Jody Allen. He had a 3-hour conversation with Jody Allen during that summer last year when he was kind of teetering if he was going to leave or not. And he has faith in her too. So it was really good to hear as a Blazer fan.
We don't deserve Dame. That's all I got to say.
Facts. Dame resigns. 2 years, $60 million a year, so $120 million, $122 million? Yeah. So tons of money right there. Let's move on to Summer League quickly before we get into the hot takes. The Blazers won last night over the Pelicans, 85-68. To be honest, I was a little more entertained by the little Dame and CJ reunion. CJ's at Summer League last night. All the Blazers were. They got to see each other. But some stats. I want to read out some stats. Trenton Watford with a great game. 6 for 12 from the field for 17 points and 11 rebounds. A little double-double for Trenton. Keon Johnson continues his good play with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 5 for 11 from the field. In my opinion, he's been the bright spot. Also, Jabari Walker, 12 points, 5 rebounds. He's also been a bright spot for this team. Didi Louzada, another 0 piece.
Yeah, it's great getting a win after the first loss to Detroit.
Yeah.
And, Pelicans, they're pretty good.
I will say they did. Trey Murphy III did play. He had 23. He obviously played valuable minutes for the actual Pelicans.
We didn't watch last game, but I did see we had 6 points with 2 minutes to go in the first. That was a little disappointing.
We started off extremely slow, but I'm glad we turned it around. Scored 31 points in the second quarter. Dyson Daniels did go down, though.
He got hurt.
He got hurt. Yeah. He rolled his ankle. So that's now Jaden Ivey got hurt yesterday, too. So 3 of the top 8 picks are hurt.
Yeah, wow. Dyson Daniels played 8 minutes, 1 point, 1 rebound, 2 assists.
All right. Well, let's move on to some hot takes. The main point of this video.
Some hot takes. I will start off with the Twitter just because there's fewer over there. Let's start off with this one. I want to get your thoughts. Nas?
Who's this from?
This is from PDX the God.
PDX God.
On Twitter. Thank you for sending this in. He says, Nas or Hart will be traded by training camp.
I remember seeing that one last night because that was one of the first ones that came in. And I think that's actually a pretty good prediction because we did talk about it before. We've got a lot of guards on this roster and just not a lot of minutes for all these guys. So I think if any of those guys were to get traded, it would be Josh Hart over Nasir Little. I would say that those would be the most likely guys to get traded. And I give it a 30% chance of happening, probably even lower now that we've had all these press conferences and stuff. But I think those are the guys that are most likely gonna get shopped around.
Yeah, I don't think that's that hot of a take. I could totally see that happening. 30% chance. I'll give it a little lower. I just don't see Nas or Josh Hart being traded necessarily. But I don't know who else it would be. But yeah, that's a fair prediction, I'd say.
All right, second one from Scrappy Mutt. They say, tanking was a waste. The Blazers would be in the same shape right now if they had made the play-in game.
I think that's...
Is that too hot to the point where that's incorrect?
I think that's completely incorrect because we've seen... If we didn't tank, Simons wouldn't be where he was today. We want to have lower... we have a younger roster now, and we had a ceiling with the Dame CJ era. And, the Robert Covington, the Norman Powell. We had a ceiling. At least we've now gotten some young talent. I would much rather have a younger team that necessarily might not go as far as the previous team, but knowing that we at least have a future now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty bad take as well. Sorry, but I mean, Damian Lillard. Are you assuming Dame plays and fights through his injury? Because
Dame would never get healthy.
Yeah, if that was the case, Dame would have never had his surgery, and he'd be going in next year, just not to his full potential. So I feel like this was a good recharge year for us Blazers fans. Regroup the team, get Dame healthy. So yeah, that's a pretty bad take.
Be honest, would you rather have Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons at what he is now, Jeremy Grant, Gary Payton, or would you still rather have the CJ, Robert Covington, and Norman Powell?
I think what he's saying is like, I don't know. When I read it, I was like, okay, I think he was saying like, did we want to tank for the 7th pick or just draft at 15? Like, because right now there's not really a difference. Also, I feel like signing Gary Payton has nothing to do with how we did last year.
Yeah, I guess.
Neither does Jeremy Grant really, because like we were always trying to get better. I don't know. I kind of understand what he's saying because like. I think
he's basically
because we didn't get the Pelicans pick too, like tanking was low-key kind of as not as perfect as it could have been. But yeah, I agree with you. Like if we did not have tanked, if we had not have tanked, Anthony Simons would not have gotten all those reps, obviously. Well, to be fair, we wouldn't have signed for $100 million.
I think that what we wouldn't have, if we didn't tank, we wouldn't have made all these trades, and these trades is what led to this new team. We wouldn't have Jeremy Grant if we didn't trade CJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. So I'm glad. I think we're good.
Next take. This is from Cash Peterson 101. Cash says we will have 3 All-Stars this year. Dame, Ant, and Jeremy. Thoughts on that one? Now that might be hot.
Well,
that's hot.
I actually know this guy in person, Cash Peterson, and he actually said 4 All-Stars. So let's change that to 4 because he actually said Dame, Ant, Jeremy Grant, and Nurk.
He definitely went with the hot take.
That is pretty hot.
That's
now,
scalding.
I think Dame's a lock.
Scorching.
Dame's a lock. But the other 3 are not necessarily locks. I mean, Simon is...
Not necessarily?
Not necessarily. Nurk is a surefire lock. He's not being all stuff. He's good, but he's just not going to.
Okay, but Jeremy Grant and Simons actually could. Yeah. I'll give them each maybe 25% chance that each of them do. Jeremy Grant's on that borderline, and if Simons improves like he did last year, he will be.
I think we can all come to the consensus that the Blazers will not have 4 All-Stars. I'll change the question a little bit, something a little more debatable. Do the Blazers get 2?
I still don't think we do get 2 just because the Blazers, I don't think our record is going to be good enough to get that at least halfway through the year. We're always a second half team anyway.
Facts.
And Anthony Simons doesn't have, I don't think, enough respect yet to even garner that. I think he would actually have to have like a 25 point per game year because like they would take a Devin Booker with 22 points over a Simons with 25. That's just how the NBA works. Popularity contest.
Simons would literally have to outplay like CJ's best year because he didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Next take. This isn't necessarily super hot. In fact, I would also agree with this comment, but it's more. I want to get your opinion on how you think Dame will play this year. This guy says the Twitter handle is 27-55, which obviously was a record last year. He says Dame will be better than he has ever been before this coming season. I kind of agree with that just because of health.
That's so hard to predict because like. Are we counting like his bubble run or like for a full season? He's gonna have his best.
We gotta count that
coming season. So I'm gonna go with full season.
I'm gonna say he's not gonna have his best year of his career just because like that 2020 year was insane.
But I think you got to take into account team success too when you throw in like best year. I think you got to say his Western Conference Finals run was his best year. Just because from a playoffs and regular season.
Actually, no, he's going to have his best year because this is going to be the time he's going to be the most healthy. And this is the team that fits around him the best. It may not be the most talented, but it is the best fit. So I think Dame's going to have the best year.
I don't know. I think Jeremy Grant's more talented than Mo Harkless.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, last year it was really hard to watch Lillard last year brick all those shots. So I'm really hoping he plays, his best season. But I don't know if he will. But I'm rooting for it, so that's why I'm going to say yes. Dame's gonna have his best season next year.
Question: Is the team last year, or I guess the team that lost to the Nuggets, was that the most talented team we've technically had? Because like they had some talented players, like you or Norman Powell's had talented players. They just didn't fit at all.
Yeah, I would say
at least the most big names. I would say
pure talents. I mean, ever since Aldridge left, that was probably pure talent. Probably the best team we had. And I would say so. Okay, I got 2 more. This one is from Inspector Basket.
All right.
He says, or they say, Portland will have a plus defensive rating this season, and Nas will play a majority of his minutes at the 4. I don't really care about the Nas part, but Portland will have a plus defensive rating this season.
Yeah, about the Nas part, he definitely won't, because like
plus defensive rating, like,
as in like we will be
compared to last year.
We will be an above average defensive team.
Okay,
so
and
like
won't
the
lose,
Terry Stotts, Cantor, Melo come off the bench. We were 29th defensively,
and now over 15th. You're saying?
I think we do have a plus defense.
Just saying, I'm going to say no, because if we're in the top half in defensive,
we'll be like
defensive rankings, and we're already going to be a top offensive team just because Dame and Ant, like you're looking at like one of the top 10 teams in the league.
No, I think we will.
Wow.
Because Chauncey Billups, we brought him in as a defensive coach. We saw his defensive scheme at the end of the year. We were a better defense when at least we had like
I will say
the guys that want to play defense. We have guys that want to play defense.
I like Chauncey's scheme. Nurk just scares me a little bit because you're asking Nurk to come out and try to guard Darius Garland at the half court line. It's just not going to go well.
Yeah. I don't really know. I mean,
trying to hedge screens.
We've been an over average 15 or better defensive team. I think only like I want to say 2 years of the last like 15 seasons. So it's really hard as a Blazer fan to say we're gonna have a good defensive team. But I'm gonna say we will. I'm gonna agree with you. I like Chauncey Billups' approach to this. Obviously, Jeremy Grant is a huge plus in defense, and our bench is gonna be way better on defense than last year. 15th though, it's hard, but I'm gonna have to agree with that. I don't think that's a hot take.
I think we're gonna be around that range.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair. Last hot take. This is also from 27 and 55. This is an interesting one. I think it's an overreaction, but, who knows. They say Jabari Walker will have a better rookie season than Shaedon Sharpe.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just because I don't think any of them are going to get significant enough minutes to even like have necessarily a good year. I think, honestly, the more positional need is Jabari Walker, though, because he is a 6'9" power forward. Yeah. It's just... He is not even on the active roster yet. He hasn't signed his contract. He's most likely going to sign a 2-way contract, if we're being honest. So, both of them aren't going to get that many minutes. So, I'll just say no.
The only way Jabari Walker has a better season than Shaedon Sharpe is if Shaedon Sharpe is a Disney and gets injured. Because sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but that's true. I mean, there's no way I can't see him. I'm rooting for it though. Sure, let's go.
Yeah. That's all the takes, though, from the Twitter.
All right, we're going to go to the Instagram takes now. I've got some similar ones to the Instagram, so we'll just start with those. Like, one guy said Jabari Walker can turn into a Nicholas Batum-type player.
That's, I think, in terms of talent-wise, I can see it. In terms of, like, player comp, like, Jabari Walker's and Nick Batum are not comparable, I feel like. Yeah. Jabari Walker's, like...
He's a little bigger.
He's bigger. He doesn't handle the ball as well. Batum actually could, like, be a secondary ball handler. Could actually, like, shoot the three at a very high clip. Played really good defense. It's the jury's still on Jabari Walker. This man's played 2 summer league games. Like, I can't compare him to Nick Batum yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he has looked very NBA-like, though.
Yeah, he does look NBA ready. He has the body that's NBA ready.
Yeah, that's all I got.
He even said he feels like the NBA game is like suits him much better than the college game, which is I don't know how to take that, but cool. I mean, he's been good so far. Cool. We've got from Land Contrail, Ant will end up being the best player Dame has ever been with.
I love this take.
That is.
I love this take. It's hot, but I love it.
And I'm gonna go ahead and stick it with the Anthony Simons theme. We'll just go ahead and throw these out. We got from Foul Quinos. Anthony is a better player than Chris Paul today. Sit on that for a second.
Okay.
And then we've got. Let's talk about the first one. I just want to see if we've got any Anthony. No, we'll hold with those two right now.
Let's talk about the first one first. So obviously, LA is Dame's best teammate of all time, right? Am I missing? Yeah.
Probably LA, then CJ. Yeah.
Then CJ. And then before
talking about McCollum, not Ellaby, correct?
And then after that, you could argue already Simons is there. So will he play better than?
That's not terrible to say. He's
LA and
okay. Well, you haven't seen Simons play with Dame yet. Like at this.
That is true. So. We've seen Simons, play alone as her team was tanking and averaging, being the leading man, putting in 25 points in that hoop every game. But I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Because LA was such a consistent player. I don't think...
No, it's not is Ant the best player. It's will he end up being the best player.
I don't think he will. Yeah. I think LA... I think he goes number 2. I think he has a chance to go over McCollum.
He surpasses CJ, you think?
He's so young.
Look,
I'm going to have to say...
If you think he's going to be an all-star...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Anthony Simons is going to be an all-star, if we think he can be on that trajectory to become an all-star, then you got to think he's already past CJ. I think Ant will need to play... in order to be considered Dame's best teammate, he's going to need to
number
play.
2.
He's going to need to play with Dame for the rest of Dame's career. Like, Simons needs to play in Portland for a long time, and he needs to get a couple All-Star appearances. Because Aldridge, how many All-Star appearances does Aldridge have?
He's got like at least 6+.
Yeah, so, I mean, right now, people forget how good Aldridge was. Obviously, Dame was really young, so, like, Aldridge was still kind of the star of that team then, but, you know, in terms of teammates, that was the best teammate Dame had. Let me address the Chris Paul one.
Let's talk about that.
Let me address that, because that's
hot.
That's
hot.
That's a little, might I say, disrespectful to the point guard. Yeah. Look, I hate Chris Paul. And by hate, I mean I dislike him greatly.
Really?
Because, well, as a fan of basketball and as a fan of like being like savvy as a point guard, he is entertaining to watch. Like ripping through 75 feet from the basket to get 2 shots. It's annoying, but I respect it because it's smart. However, I don't know. Once the Suns started doing well, he just kind of pissed me off. So seeing him implode against the Mavericks was really fun. But Simons is what, 23? Chris Paul is what, 36?
36, 37.
Chris Paul what has over 10 double-digit All-Star appearances.
Yeah.
He's been to the finals. Yeah. Is it he's better than Chris Paul right now or like his career?
Today.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Foul's coming out with the hot takes.
Well, okay. Well, if you think about it, it's a little unfair to Chris Paul because he's 36. Like, if you take Simons versus Chris Paul in a one, you can't do this in a one.
Yeah, it's just like who helps your team win more.
I would say Chris Paul. It's Chris Paul, but it's like in terms of career, Simons won't surpass Chris Paul in my opinion.
I mean,
but
Chris
right
Paul,
now, I mean,
Simons' scoring peak will probably end up being higher than
probably.
Chris Paul's scoring peak.
I mean, but Chris Paul's probably just a better all-around player.
I feel like it already has.
Better ways.
And he's led 4 franchises to their best record of all time. He took the
Thunder to the playoffs. He took the Hornets to the playoffs.
Could have easily won the finals with the Rockets if they didn't implode in Game 7, and if he didn't hurt his hamstring.
Yeah. I mean, I got
Chris Paul over Simons. That's non-negotiable, non-debatable.
All right, I'm going to do a couple Dame ones. We've got one from Sean Cullen. He said Dame is still a top 3 point guard in the league. And then another guy, AL3X_315, says the Blazers get the 3 or 4 seed and Dame wins MVP.
Okay, so
Dame's a top 3 point guard still. Let's go and say
well,
that.
let's say it. It's Curry, Dame, and who? Ja?
Probably Ja.
It's Luka.
Oh, it's Luka PG.
Is Luka?
Yeah,
are we counting Luka as PG?
So is Dame top 3?
Yeah, Dame's still top.
So he's better than Ja.
Dame's better than Ja.
Yes.
He's better than Trey.
Yes.
Dame's better than Trey.
Recency bias.
This video, go watch it.
Yeah.
Recency bias. If you think Ja Morant is better than Dame, then respectfully, go. I don't know. Like, just come on.
But Steph and Luka over Dame.
Yeah.
This is why Dame will never start in the Western Conference. All-Star.
He could have that one.
Sorry, the All-Star game. Not Western Conference, but okay. Dame will be MVP. Get the 3 or 4 seed. The team.
I think if the Blazers do get the 3 seed somehow, some way, which I don't want to say is like an impossible thing, but it's very unlikely, I would say, and it's Dame averaging 29, he's in the conversation at least. Because to have that big of a turnaround, that's a storyline people will like.
I mean, the biggest question is just injuries. I mean, if you get injured, you're probably not winning MVP. If you're missing more than 10 games, it's already almost out of the question. I mean, injuries is such a big. But Dame has
he's
tools.
Healthy. He's healthy right now.
Dame has I guess the tools around him to win. Because Paul George is almost as good as Dame, but he's not going to win MVP because he has Kawhi. But Dame, he's the best player in his team.
Dame's gonna carry
he can carry this team to 30 points a game and win this. I think he could do it.
And obviously, you have Jokic, 2-time reigning MVP. LeBron, Kawhi, Steph, basically anyone on the Warriors. Booker probably, Embiid, but I don't know. If the Blazers, like you said, get the 3 seed or the 4 seed after, they were the 12 seed, 13 seed? Let's just miss the playoffs in a tanking fashion. If they get the 3 seed, they have home court. They're a 50-win team. Dame averages 29 and 8. I mean, he's got to be on the final ballot at least.
I've got a guy this year that petered off at the end, but he started off the first half of the season. He was in MVP conversations. If he follows the same trajectory as a DeMar DeRozan did last year, where he's averaging absurd numbers, where it's almost 30 points a game, he has a couple buzzer beaters, the storyline gets created, he's taking a team that wasn't good last year and is good this year, then I could see him being in the conversation because that's what happened with DeMar DeRozan. They just kind of fell off at the end of the year. So that's my comparison. I think it's something that's it's going to matter with winning.
He could do it, but the MVP is so hard. You literally have to be the best player, so that's all I got to say. But I think he can do it.
I will say, though, the storyline aspect is very underrated because, I don't know, right now, you look at Russell Westbrook and you're like, how the hell was he a league MVP? It's because he had his triple-double season, and that storyline was being written. So, storyline is key. Obviously, the more media exposure to Portland, the better. We're kind of already behind the 8 ball just because, up in the corner. of the Northwest and being a small market team. Dame is the only person that can shine light on that franchise really from a media perspective. So if he's playing well, more attention on Portland, higher chance for MVP.
All right, we've got another one with Dame. This one's more of a negative one. It's from Tyler Karp. He said Dame's contract is the biggest reason why it's been impossible to build a winning team. Which, I'm going to go ahead and give my answer to this.
All right.
Can I say facts?
No, it's not, because every winning team has a star that is making a supermax contract. The biggest reason we don't win championships is because A, we had an incompetent GM for the last 10 years, and B, we are in Portland, Oregon, in the Northwest. No one wants to live there.
Ding, ding, ding.
So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Nothing to do with his contract.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think you can definitely say incompetent GM. I think, like you said, being in Portland, it's just like, take the Lakers, for example. You sign LeBron. First off, like, you sign a top 3 player of all time just because he likes your city. Like, you can be trash for 10 years, or ever since Kobe retired, you can be trash for 5-6 years.
Yep.
LeBron signs. You trade the entire mansion, property. You trade everything for AD. You're left with LeBron, AD, and a bunch of nobodies. But because you're in LA, you can sign a bunch of impact players on low deals. So the Blazers don't have that luxury. You have to draft smartly, move around the edges. And Neil did a decent job moving around the edges, but he just never went for it. Should have traded CJ earlier. That's where the incompetence came from.
Yeah, look at, for example, Joe Ingles this year. We could have easily re-signed him, probably for even more money than what he signed, but he wants to go win, and he wants to...
So that the Bucks are now a team because they've won a championship, because they have... they're an attractive destination because of Giannis, Chris Middleton. They just are a deep team that has a great chance to get out of the East every year. So players like Joe Ingles are going to want to sign there.
Yep.
Give him good minutes.
This makes me go back to that 2020 or 2019 offseason following the Western Conference Finals. We could have actually made huge moves. We had momentum from the Western Conference Finals. We could have probably signed a couple free agents to low deals because we can say, hey, we can win. We've proven that we can win. But no, we end up trading for Hassan Whiteside and losing Aminu, losing Harkless.
I think this isn't even hot, but this is a little off topic. But I'm gonna say I think that was the worst move of the Olshey era.
Getting Hassan. I mean, he plays a minimum on the Kings.
It's not only getting Hassan. It's then not using his contract and flipping him for something else.
Well, you get rid of Myers Leonard, who obviously down the line got himself out of the league.
He got sniped.
Yeah, you're trading Mo Harkless, who I think was underrated for the team. Yeah. Great rebounder. He was a streaky shooter, but he could knock down a shot. He played really good defense. And we gave up firsts.
I don't know if we even gave up a first, but it ended up causing us to lose all of our rotation pieces.
Maybe we got a first, but
we were giving Whiteside $27 million instead of using that $27 million to re-sign Curry, to re-sign Aminu.
Thing about Dame's contract is, if you take over 30% of the you told me is this of the team's cap, then you're only getting 30%. So if it's $60 million, he's not actually going to get $60 million. He's going to get 55, assuming that's a third of the team's salary cap. Yeah. So just wanted to quickly say that before we move on to the next.
So you can go max of 30 or 35% of your team's salary.
Yeah.
So a $61 million contract in 2027 is an equivalent to a $43 million contract in today. That just shows how much the salary cap is going to raise. So again, it's not like he's going to be making so much more than everyone else. He's just making.
It's still the same. It's going to be star money.
Star money.
It's all about percentages. All right, let's move on next.
This guy's not even on our team anymore, but Noah Boyko says, I dislike CJ Elleby. That's all.
I just dislike CJ Elleby.
You dislike?
No, that's his take.
Oh, he
dislikes him.
Oh, he dislikes him? I mean, that's cold. That's just facts.
Oof. Yeah.
I mean, look,
he's the best player.
He's not on our team anymore.
No, he's not on our team anymore. I'll say one thing about CJ Elleby. He went to Washington State. My dad went to Washington State, so obviously I'm like, cool, Washington State. So I was like, oh, cool, we got a Washington State guy coming to the team. He's a second-round pick. You can't expect much. And to be honest, I liked his hustle. For a tanking team, played hard. We went to some games where the starting lineup was Brandon Williams, CJ Elleby, Cam McGriff. Exactly.
He made his open shots. That's all he's got.
Occasionally.
What was his 30?
But his best thing was just flying in for a rebound.
You could tell pretty early he was not going to be a rotation NBA player. If anything, he would stick onto a team as the 14th or 15th man. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
He was my second favorite CJ last year, so we love you, CJ Elleby.
Nice. That's good, Cody.
That's good.
Let's move on.
That's good.
Let's go to... Okay, two more Simons ones. We got or three more Simons ones actually.
Three more
from Angus McClure. Blazers will win a chip in 3 years. and Anthony will win Finals MVP.
Wow.
Okay.
Hold on. Can we get an award for hottest take?
That is the
Because
hottest one.
not only was I
900 degrees.
Blazers winning a championship in 3 years. I was ready to crown that the hottest take, and then he has the audacity to say Anthony Simons is winning Finals MVP. I mean, look. I guess if the Blazers win a championship, Simons has, he's one of the top 3 players. He has a 33% chance to win Finals MVP.
I mean, it's got to be Dame. There's no way.
Yeah,
Simons outplays Dame in the finals.
Let me.
There's no way.
Call that take.
There's no way.
That take's hopeless because if Damian Lillard's on the team, he's winning Finals MVP. So we can just full stop it there.
Yeah. If he doesn't, then he's pulling a Stephen Iggy. But at the end of the day, I just want a ring.
Arguable top 10 player in the league is probably the only guy. Like, did you see the thing on Instagram the other day where it was like longest tenured players in the league, and it was like Dame and it was Steph, Clay, Draymond. Well, no dip, Steph, Clay, and Draymond aren't going to leave the Warriors. They're going to win titles every year. Yeah. Dame is staying in a horrible situation, and he's the most loyal player. Full stop.
We love you, Dame.
We love you.
But Simons ain't winning Finals MVP. No shot.
Yeah.
We got from Lucas Andrews. Maturing is realizing that Simons has a higher ceiling than Jordan Poole. More potential than him, too.
Okay.
Facts.
Which is facts.
I think
straight
up
facts.
I also think Jordan Poole, won't necessarily ever even have an opportunity to showcase he's an all-star since he's going to be on the Warriors. But anyway, even if he did, Simons is a better scorer. Poole is a better, probably off-ball shooter. But Simons is more athletic, better scorer,
Can you say that?
passer.
People are just going to say Poole's better just because I saw him in the finals. I saw him hit a half-court shot on Peyton Pritchard. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Simons has a higher ceiling.
Well, if the question is ceiling, then it's Simons. If it's who's the better player,
I still think it's Simons.
I still think it's Simons.
Well, a lot of people are going to say Poole because Warriors, but little do they know.
Well, when you take it doesn't have to be a Blazers player. When you take a player in the NBA and compare him to a Warriors player, you have to factor in the meat writing for the Warriors player.
But what if you put Jordan Poole on his own team, like a tanking 10 seed in the East? How does he perform?
Yeah, Simons is better.
It's probably a 20-point per game scorer.
But Simons is as well, I guess. So okay.
Yeah, I mean
Simons
it's
a 23-point per game.
23.
Potatoes on the scoring here, but Simons has a higher ceiling. If that's the question, in terms of higher ceiling, Simons' potential is higher because he's younger. In my opinion, he's more athletic and he has more room to grow.
How old is Jordan Poole? Anyone know off the top of their head?
23.
I think just a little bit older than Simons.
24, 25?
24.
But Simons more athletic. You can literally see it in his game.
Yeah, he just won a dunk contest.
Yeah, we blew a candle.
Yeah.
Blue cupcake.
Blue cupcake. Blew a candle out on a cupcake.
An injury will occur, which will allow Shaden to get PT and will prove why he picked him.
Okay, let me just address this. Saying an injury occurs is not a hot take. Do you know the Blazers franchise here?
Yeah, we're gonna get
someone's getting injured.
We're gonna get injured. Hopefully it's not Dame, but it could be.
Nas is definitely we're gonna be 11-9, and Nas we're gonna be going to LA that night, and Nas is gonna have a right tendon peller something. Okay, he's gonna be out for a week, and Shane's gonna come in and hopefully prove why. Look, Shane's gonna get his opportunities this year, in my opinion. You don't draft someone 7 and stash him on the bench all year. I mean, you could. But I don't think the Blazers are going to do that. But to say an injury will happen and try to mask that as a hot take, mate. Yeah,
it's inevitable. An injury will happen. Shaden Sharp will have his opportunities.
Will Shaden Sharp prove himself?
And we're going to say yes. We're rooting for him. We're going to root for him.
He doesn't have to do much, in my opinion, to prove. He just needs to
You just got to hit your open shots. Don't be don't be off Farouk.
Don't be off Farouk.
All right, we got two more Nas ones. Here's the final to Nas. Okay. We got from Seth Brady _. I'm just going to go ahead and read both of them first.
Cool.
Because they're the same thing. We got Nasir Little averages 15 points per game this year. I believe he's got a lot of potential. And then from Trailblazers PDX, we got Nasir Little will take the biggest leap this year and will flash future all-star potential.
That is hot. Absolutely not. 15 points.
Yeah, I don't think he scored
15 points. That's a lot of points.
Well, he should be the 5th option on the start if he starts.
I mean, assuming injuries don't happen, Dame's going to get his high 20s. Simons is probably going to get over 20. And to say Nurk's going to get his 10 to 15, but to say Nas is also Jeremy Grant. Oh my gosh, this guy out. Yeah, you're not getting the ball, mate. You're not getting the ball.
I think Nas could average if we're playing well, he could average 10.
Yeah,
like a Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Now, to say he takes the biggest leap, I think that's actually not that bad because I think if the Blazers are going to be good, it's going to have to be Nas taking a leap. It's going to have to be a forward taking a leap.
That is true.
Yeah,
because Jeremy Grant's already great. Nurk's already great. Dame's already great. Simon's already great.
Nurk's already great.
Well, he's not getting much.
Nurk's good.
He's not going to have.
I'm saying Nurk could. I think Nurk could have a leap.
Oh, okay, but not as much as.
I think Nurk could have a leap into a top 5 center this year. Play like a top 5 center.
No, that's kind of.
No, that's hot. Let's start off hot takes here. No, hold on. No, I'm saying I'm not going to say. not saying he is a top 5 center. I'm saying he can play to where people could be like, oh, he's playing like a top 5 center this year.
Okay.
That's not that hot.
I think it's extremely hot.
Okay. Jokic,
Embiid, Gobert. Adebayo, Towns.
Okay, there's 5 right there. Okay, well, first off,
I don't think Nurk even can get that
First
high.
off, the Timberwolves franchise are not going to have 2 of the top 5 centers in the league. It's the Timberwolves.
I think it's more likely Nurk is at the point where people don't view him as a top 10 center, and he can get the talks as a top 10 center.
That's fine. Well, I think Nurk's going to have a big year because he's actually having help on the wing and doesn't have to play defense 1-on-5.
That's true.
So,
we've got from Kaminga_Brazil. Blazers with everyone healthy can land at least 2 rounds of the playoffs. So I assume at least make it to the second round.
Can land at least 2 rounds. So
or is that saying make it to the Western Conference Finals?
If we don't get injured,
I think for hot takes purposes, let's say Western Conference Finals.
We have another one that's
because I don't think it's that hard to say the Blazers win a first round series. If you sneak in the playoffs and you have Damian Lillard on your team, you can win a series.
We have a great team. I mean, just look at. Look at.
Yes, we have a good team.
0-0.
Well, we're about to be
just as good as every other team.
We're about to be 73-8. So that's
the same record.
Stop.
That's what you just said.
I said we're 0-0. Like I'm saying, we can't. How can you prove we're a good team yet?
I think we'll
because this is a new team. Like saying the Bucks are 0-0. We obviously know the Bucks are better than us.
I thought the same when we had Rocco, so maybe I should keep my mouth shut before the season actually starts. But hopefully that's.
Unless a good team,
I would say the anticipation is very high for this year, just because we finally got a fringe all-star player, like a CJ caliber player.
Yep.
All right, we've got. I'm gonna give you.
That's not a guard.
One more hot take. This will end the video. We've had this argument a lot before, and we'll end with it again because we're passionate about it, I guess.
All right.
Again, from Angus McClure. If you didn't look at accolades, the Dame and Steph debate could go either way.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
But how can you debate something without accolades?
Okay, even if Steph has 0, 0, whatever, but he's the same player he is. No, we're taking Steph over Dame. I mean, the things he has done. Well, but then accolades fuel that, I guess. But I don't know. I just look at Steph. I look at Dame. Steph's better, but it's way closer than people think, and that is a fair take. If Steph played on the Blazers with 0 All-Stars, we are not winning a ring. That's a safe bet. Put Dame with 3 All-Stars. Not saying he wins a ring, but I'm saying he could have. So
if you put Dame on the Warriors. This is a tough way to make this argument, but it's fair. Most guards would have won a title with the KD team, in my opinion. Like, I'm never going to people discredit KD's rings over the Warriors, so I don't discredit Steph for those rings.
Take Steph off 2018.
That's a question.
Team. Steph,
I think they discredit the KD rings because they just don't like KD.
That's fair, but I'm just saying
they don't actually say
obviously
he shouldn't have rings.
73-win team. You add Kevin freaking Durant. That's like I don't know what's a comparison. The 72
no comparison.
The 72
win CJ Elby staying on the team.
The 72-win Bulls add Hakeem.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
You think the Warriors win in 2018 without Steph? They swept the Cavs in the finals. They had an easy playoff.
I honestly don't think they do. Probably.
You don't think? All right.
Look,
but if you put Dame there, if you put
if you just put like a below average guard.
I think, but yeah, let's just say they both.
Okay, before we even continue the argument, we're all saying that Steph is better than Dame.
Oh yes, okay.
Steph
better than Dame.
Don't go in the comments and say Steph. We're stupid. We're saying Steph is better than Dame.
I'm just saying it's like people think there's this great chasm between Steph and the rest of the guards. It's like just because Steph Curry can launch a golf ball does not mean he's cooler.
Just because, what else did he do yesterday? He kicked the Grizzlies ball.
I think social media has
played a part in this. They love
Steph. And, Steph's a very marketable athlete because he revolutionized the game.
Again.
But, you cannot... People fault Dame, Trae Young, Darius Garland, not as much Darius Garland, but definitely Dame and Trae. They're like, they just shoot from deep to mimic Curry.
Dame started the actually deep trend.
Yeah.
Steph didn't shoot from 30-plus more than freaking 3 times a game.
Dame's 30
if you want to talk
about Dame had 60-plus.
If you want to talk about greatest shooter from 30 feet plus, Steph is like 20% for his career. That's definitely a random number I threw out, but it's lower than 30%. I'll tell you that. We'll call it 30%. Dame in 2019 alone. I don't want to cherry pick stats here because it happened other years, but just the Western Conference Finals run was legendary. 8 for 12 from 30 feet plus. What's 8
the next year he made 59 shots. No one else has made over 25. Go fact check that. I saw it.
Fact check it. Yeah. Rip City Rundown, spitting facts out here about Damian Lillard.
Steph Curry is better than
We're
Dame.
taking Steph, obviously, because Steph's... I think the difference, honestly, is Steph's off-ball movement. Steph's... I'm not going to say like passing because they're both just solid point guards and they both shoot the ball really well. Steph shoots it better, obviously, but Steph's ability to get open... I will say, if Dame has Draymond Green and Klay Thompson on his team, Dame probably gets some cleaner looks. Like, let's be fair. Dame's not shooting contested 35-footers. Yep. So
is Steph really putting up 55 in that Game 5 game? Is he going to do it? I don't think so. I don't know if Steph's ever put up 55 in his career.
What are
you talking about?
Dame scored 55 points in Game 5.
Against the Nuggets? So Steph
12 threes. Steph, I don't think, has ever scored more than 54.
No, he has 160 bomb. It was against us. We watched that game. That was
but
this guy's a noob.
We sucked, though.
That's when they sucked.
No, that's when
it's harder for Steph to have higher point games though because he has help. Dame doesn't have help, so he kind of has to put the ball in the hoop in order for his team to succeed.
Yeah, I want to be careful that we're not doing any blasphemy here because we are roasting Steph a little bit, but to maintain the validity and of what we say, Steph is 100% a better player than Dame. It's just interesting. The arguments are interesting about just scenery, where you're at, who your teammates are. I will say, there's a long time where you could say Steph's not clutch. He proved it this year against Boston that he can win a title as the bona fide best player on his team. He doesn't need a top 10 player of all time in Kevin Durant, which could be hot in its own, but I'm going to say it, to help him win. So I would like to see Dame get an opportunity in the finals one day to prove what he can do. I think it's fair to say Dame is a clutcher player than Steph, just in general.
That's safe. Yeah.
I think that's safe. Not that matters because you could argue that the clutch moments you could argue like the clutchest or the biggest game Dame's ever played was Game 7 in Denver, and
he pooped the bed a little bit.
He didn't play well. I mean, he did, have
an electric triple-double.
Okay, that's true.
Okay, 3 for 17 for 11
Steph,
points.
Steph's my favorite non-Blazer player, actually, so I hate to...
I would never believe that if I didn't know you.
Really?
I mean,
you knew I like Steph.
No, I did know that, but if I was watching this podcast, I would think you hate Steph.
No, I love him.
Okay.
It's a little, okay.
Steph is better than Dame. Debate. I just want people to respect Dame a little more and not just... I want people to see Dame as his own player and not be like, oh, this is just Steph Jr. because he also shoots deep threes. And mind you, shoots them probably better than Steph does. Let's be honest, from a certain feedback. So just yes, Steph is the grandfather of the three-point revolution. He started it, but Dame and Trey are not necessarily these little minions here. They can do it too.
Steph owns Dame. I mean, sorry, but if Dame has the help that he had, Dame owns Steph just like that. Tables are turned just like that.
That is true.
But anyway, that's all.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So those are all hot takes.
Sorry to run down a rabbit trail.
I hope you enjoyed it. If you got featured in it, thank you for dropping questions and comment. Maybe comment some more hot takes or if you agree with any of ours.
Yeah, that was fun. I want to do that again.
Yeah. So
maybe we'll do it after the season starts.
Yeah. We'll see you in the next podcast. See you in the next video. Catch you next time. Peace.